Are we in? Sorry about that, guys. Basically, that's really annoying. I don't even know if you could hear me previously, but I've basically been talking to myself for the last 20 minutes or so. As you can see, we've already departed. YouTube was telling me we were already live, and there was sort of chat on the live chat. So I just figured that everything was working well. But we are on our way already to Bergen. I'm guessing no one could hear me before. Is that correct? Brilliant. Yeah. So basically, we're on VATSIM, but we'd departed on VATSIM out of Manchester. We'd checked out. Not that any of you guys could see it, but we checked out the new updates to Manchester Airport and had a little look at the Thomas Cook hangars and things as we taxied along and joined the queue to depart. But yeah, we're basically we're checking out the new lights on the A320 fly-by-wire project, and yeah, don't forget to line the IRS. I don't know how long you'd been sat there waiting for that yesterday on your stream. Yeah, I apologise for that. So one of you guys should have said, when are we starting? And yeah, it probably clicked, but I was on the control centre for the YouTube live stream, and it was telling me that we were live. So there was obviously a bug or a fault within either YouTube or the software that I'm using. I'm not quite sure which. Same process yesterday, and it worked perfectly fine. So I'll have to have a look into that. It was an eventful departure. We got vectored by ATC up to our flight level, and now we're on Unicom. Manchester Airport, the scenery's been updated again. It's version 0.5.5, I believe. So there's Thomas Cook hangar, a bit more work on, a little bit more work on the Terminal 2 area as well, which is quite nice to see. So I've already explained this because I thought I was talking to you guys, but I'll show you guys the charts for Bergen. We're going to come in via Aluva, down at the very bottom there, flight level 90 is a minimum altitude that we can head in at, and there's a hold at Aluva if it's busy, but not anticipating that. We then continue on to Genvu, and then Oklan, and then from Oklan, if we look at this blown out square here, we then make quite a sharpish right turn down to BR 722, 721 and 720, down to 4,000 feet, and then we head up north to Rivip at 4,000 feet for that minimum altitude for us there. From Rivip, which is down the very bottom here, we can see that we've got a maximum speed of 220 knots indicated for that section of the star, the arrival, and that's our initial approach fix. So we pass Rivip and then we descend down to 3,000, and then initially, and then we continue down to 2,500 feet for Edava, and from Edava we then head north 350 degrees straight in approach for runway 35, which is a Cat 1 ILS. Airfield elevation is 166 degrees, 166 feet, and transition altitude on the star on the charts is 7,000, as we can see at the very top right here. We've got the ILS frequency 110.5, that's already in the MCDU, and we've got some DME, VOR DME bits there, so Fleshland at 115.55 there for us, if we need to use that. And if we look at the approach plates, we can see that from a Davat we're at 3,000, we then drop down to 2,500 foot, and from there we join that final approach 3-degree glide path, heading at 350 degrees down to the runway. Cat 1 ILS, it's straight in, but we with our weight and our approach speeds will be a category C aircraft, and we've got a decision height there of 218 feet according to the RADOUT. But it's also given us there a decision height of 56 feet for us there. Once we're on the ground, we'll probably vacate at Alpha 5, which is on the top there, that runway incursion hotspot 1. And then we'll taxi down to probably Terminal 2, that sort of circular pier there, and we'll park up on one of those stands if there's no ATC. That's just that wider chart as well for you guys to have a little look at. Sunset's progressing quite nicely as well now. At least we're on our way, and I've eventually got the stream sorted, so that's annoying. But thank you for all watching and waiting. Appreciate your patience. You'll be very, very familiar with that starting stream image now then, I think. Zachariah, it's an A320neo. Commentator, hello, welcome, good to see you tuning in again. Ian, good afternoon. Hopefully you're enjoying Manchester yet. It's on your way to Corfu, yeah. You said that you'd be doing that yesterday, actually. It was quite good. Fantastic scenery for freeware at Corfu, and Manchester's great at the early access price. It's incredible for an offer. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. And yeah, Manchester is pretty fantastic for scenery. Zachariah, flying in the View, we're testing new lighting that's part of the A32NX project, so I'm actually having a look at how the light develops now that the sun's going down. So we've got a different focus on it. That looks cool. On the beacons, strobes and nav lights. Runway lights and landing lights have been tweaked as well. They were quite powerful actually on the ground. Not that you guys could see it. And if I go to drone fixed camera 12, I think it is, we should see the beacon now reflecting off the winglet, as you guys can now see. So we're testing lots of things. We're on the cruise at on autopilot, which is why we can flick about and enjoy the view a little bit more. But that new PR looks fantastic with the wings getting that beacon reflection on it. Nice. You'll enjoy the VOR approach. I quite like them now, to be honest. Gives us something to think about. So it's LGKR, isn't it, for Corfu? Let's have a look. I'm just having a little look at the Corfu charts to see if it's a radial or not. Yeah, it looks like a VOR arc for runway 16. I'm guessing, Ian, you're on VATSIM as well. What I might do is we get a bit closer towards Bergen and might be looking to alter the lighting on the aircraft and alter the time of day so we can actually see a little bit better. Now, in theory, now I've turned those cockpit lights on. M-Satric, hello. Hello to you too. We should be able to see Tom 234, is it? Depending on whether you've got this on, of course. You need to enable on your A32NX, you need to enable your free text thing, so people can send you messages. We got the lighting? Oh yeah, good. So I've turned the flight deck lighting on and we can see that in the aircraft there as well, which is good. The strobes don't look all that bright for some reason. Says QTEL, so we've got Denmark directly ahead. We'll be turning left, heading north now up towards Norway. As we get nearer to Stavanger, which is our diversion airport for today, we'll start our descent. The scenery out of Manchester was absolutely fantastic. I had another sun that was starting to set. There was a couple of aircraft flying in, so there was 2 aircraft on final approach that we had to wait for, and I was number 2 in a queue of 3 aircraft. So I'm really annoyed that the YouTube's live centre mucked up for the start of that stream. But on Saturday, we'll be doing another live stream. It's scheduled now already on the channel. We'll be heading from Manchester, revisiting the scenery again, of course, from about 1 PM or so. We'll be heading up to Lapland. We're aiming to time it so that myself and a mate will be logging into VATSIM and doing the flight probably about 30 minutes before the big VATSIM Fly to Lapland event actually starts. All the slots for that have all been booked up already quite quickly, so I'll be flying in just before the official start of the event. Normally there's ATC on at that point anyway, so we'll make sure you join us on Saturday for that live stream. That'll be quite good. Echo, yeah, no, thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. It was a quite nice little group flight actually. Great scenery and 2 fantastic freeware airports as well that we used. If any of you have got the A32NX and you want to enable your live chat or your free text thing, you need to go to the MCDU menu, which is that button there that I've just highlighted. Then go through to the AOC menu, and then in fact I can show you guys here. So go MCDU menu. To turn it on, you need to go to options and then free text. It will say disable. You need to just press that button there and it will enable itself. There's loads of other updates as well, so we've got that initial, you can change that initial barometer so it will remember the last setting you were on, or you could force it to always be in inches, in mercury or HPA, but we'll leave it on auto and it will save within the file so that next time we fly it will have it on HPA, which will be our QNH 1013 instead of 2992, whatever it is, the American money. To send a free text, you go to that ATSU data link and then into the AOC menu, which is where you can request your ATIS information and your weather data for airports. Let's have a quick look to see what's about. Enos Centre, Polaris Control. Now I think that's Norway, part of Norway, so I'm just going to have a little look on SimAware, because it'll be interesting to see if we get them controlling us for our descent. Yep, looks like we potentially we won't be flying into their territory, but we might get a message telling us to tune in. Hopefully we do. But you can send messages to people via entering into that free text box, as long as you've got their call sign. And to set your call sign, you need to put that into that flight number tab there. So for us today, we're Scandinavian 268, SAS 268. Ian's Thompson or Tomjet 234, so he'd write TOM 234 into that flight number area there and commit that in. And then we'd be able to basically send each other free text messages. And if someone sent you something, it would pop up on your eCam there saying company message, and you'd go into this ATSU menu, AOC menu, and you'd go to receive messages to see what you've been sent. Tom 234 X-ray. Okay, let's try and send you a message. So you go free text, you need to put their call sign in. So Ian's Tom 234X, Ray 234X. So you can put bits on different lines and you hit send, but it's not got telex enabled yet, so you hit send and it'd say sent just above here, and the other person would get a company message appear there, and you could review that inside your own MCDU. Good grief, it's got really dark now. I'm not sure if, let me just try and type a, no, so that's not going to work. Let's remove that. It's up to you guys whether or not you'd want us to continue in the pitch black, or if you want me to change the time of day, rewind it so that we can see as we make our way across. So let me know in the live chat whether you prefer keeping it on night time and live time, or switching that to a different time of day. You know what? You're saying it's not. You've saying it's enabled. Maybe mine's become disabled somehow. Oh, what? Yeah, for some reason then, one of the updates has deactivated the A32NX free chat, so I've had to reactivate that. Oops. So put the call sign in, and I'll just try and send him a quick test message. Queued, sent. There we go. Hopefully that works. If you guys are new to the channel, normally the streams work smoothly at the start. I'm not sure why this one didn't, so we missed that departure, but make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Be sure to join us as well with that live VATSIM event that we're going to fly into just before it starts for that Lapland trip on Saturday. That'll be quite good. It's going to potentially be very busy, so we may have to fly holds and add extra fuel to the aircraft before we depart to make sure we can hold for a prolonged amount of time. Awesome. We'll leave it on night time then, and we'll see how we go with our arrival into Bergen. It is absolutely pitch black out there, though. Good grief. Let's turn the mood lighting off. So I got a company message. I'd imagine that's from Ian. So we could go into that AOC menu. We click Receive Messages, and we can see there Tomjet234X has sent us a message. There we go, and so that's Ian sending us a message from his aircraft because he's got the A32NX mod, and he sent us a message to our aircraft as well, which is quite cool. Other things that you can do in here, you're very welcome, by the way. You can go onto AOC menu and ATIS, and you can request data basically. Now this will probably come back blank because we don't have ATC on VATSIM currently for Bergen, or anywhere else by the looks of it, but ENGM approach is on, so I could in theory type in ENGM and we could get that ATIS information for Oslo. So we hit send, queue it, and we'll wait for the company messages to pop up. We've got the one there, that'll be from our initial request that we just sent off, and that'll probably be blank. Yeah, so D8 not available, and that's because we're trying to request that data from VATSIM, and there's no tower control on at the moment at Bergen, so there's no ATIS. We'll check Oslo, and there we go. There is ATC at Oslo on VATSIM, and we can actually read their latest ATIS information directly in the MCDU. So all the information, light drizzle, clouds at 300 feet, so it'll be fog by the looks of it as well. So you can get all of that within here, which is awesome, and that's all thanks to the A32NX. The lighting that we are testing, basically a PR has been launched for new lighting updates within the A32NX, all external, so the strobe lights, the beacon now has been set so it can reflect nicely off the winglets properly, and some of the wing lights lighting up as well underneath. Underneath the aircraft, so we've got loads of those. They've changed the intensity of the nav lights and the strobes. You see it reflecting off the wings there. That's quite cool. And then the intensity of some of the other bits. So basically, all the lighting up here has pretty much been changed. Landing lights and everything have been amended as well. You can probably turn that wing light off. And there we go. We're in pitch black now. Just cabin lights. With it being pitch black as well, when we get nearer and we start to slow for the approach, the logo lights on the tail and things should come on. When we go gear down, we'll get our landing lights and everything showing out as well, so we'll be able to test the rest of the lights there as well. Look at all those stars, that's incredible. I very rarely fly at night time in the sim because of the way that the lights on the ground are so messed up on the taxiways and things. It makes it very difficult just to be able to see where you're going. You can see there we've got the strobes flashing away, we've got the beacon as well, reflecting still, which is good. And interestingly, we don't have any of the strobes reflecting into the flight deck because I know that's been issues before. So we're basically testing all of that to see, to make sure it's all working as it should. Let's turn down the floodlights. We don't need it so bright, do we, guys? We could probably turn that weather radar off. If we can't see the clouds above, then we know we're flying in clouds, so that's what we'll use to gauge the weather. Good grief, yeah, you're pushing it there, then I think if I did that, I'd need the Garmin 1000 with the glass cockpit and the terrain mapping on the primary flight display, so I can actually see if I'm going to hit any mountains or not. But I certainly couldn't do it in steam gauge. One thing we do as an A32NX, a fly-by-wire project tester, when we test all of these mods and add-ons before they go into the master development version that everybody can download, and which then becomes the stable, of course, we have to write up a report of the test. So we write on everything that we've seen and dealt with, and if there were any issues during the testing, then we have to obviously mention what issues that we noticed as well. We'll be flying roughly the same sort of route on Saturday, I would imagine. Slightly earlier in the day. We would depart at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly, to head in for that VATSIM event in Rovaniemi. It's around about a 3-hour flight time, I believe, from Manchester to Lapland. But it's going to be quite good, especially if it's busy, being a VATSIM event. What tends to happen, as Jussi was just saying, with a VATSIM event, a lot of people that can't get the slots will fly in either during the event anyway, or they will fly in before or after the event. So it will be really busy in the lead up to the event actually starting officially anyway, and we'll be joining in just before the official start of it. There were slots available at Tromsø, but I wanted to do the actual sort of route to Lapland, if you like. And on Saturday I'll make sure that there's no issues with the live streaming functions. We don't want like a repeat of the issues that we had at the start today. Someone mentioned yesterday there was a new mod where you could change the camera settings and things. I can't remember what the hotkeys are for a lot of these, but I still have to sort of go through and click a lot of these. Oh, good grief, that is loud. But I find a lot of these fixed views are not that great. My favourite sort of routes in the Cessna Caravan have all been around New Zealand, David. I've not done any at night time though. I ended up either sort of tinkering with sunset, flying in to places at sunset, or flying out of places at sunrise into the day. So I was actively avoiding the night. God, Zachariah, that is a very good question. X-Plane 11. The difference between the two, I'm not probably best qualified to say. I've never used X-Plane 11. The only things that I could probably say would be that Microsoft Flight Simulator, the scenery on this is absolutely second to none. It's leagues ahead of a lot of other simulators, and it will probably be the basis of flight simulation years to come. But the X-Plane is far more advanced with the aircraft, so even though the graphics aren't as good, you're getting you've got a good selection of study level aircraft to use. So in that sense, Microsoft Flight Simulator really has to catch up. We've got some fantastic scenery coming out on the sim now though, so like Manchester, which we started off at but you guys annoyingly couldn't see. That's brilliant, and it's half the price of all of these other bigger flight sim scenery companies, and you're getting 3 times the size of airport for half the price. So really recommend that. Milford Sound is fantastic in the day. That freeware scenery that I put a link to on a video the other day for Milford Sound is stunning. Small little airport right in the middle of the valley of a load of mountains. Yeah, that's probably the best way to sum it up. Yeah, I'd say X-Plane is more immersive, and yeah, best functionality, and then this has got the best graphics, like you said. That's probably a really good way of summarising. The sim itself though is catching up. The A32NX is miles and miles ahead of any other aircraft in the sim. The default aircraft are shocking. I've got Premium Deluxe, and I've got the Dreamliner, the Boeing 787X, and or dash 10, and that's rubbish. I haven't flown it since September because it just doesn't really work, and it's not suitable for VATSIM, annoyingly, because of all of the issues within it. So the A320neo is the only way really, with the A320 fly-by-wire mod. I think if it wasn't for the fly-by-wire mod, I would probably still be in the Cessna Grand Caravan, pootling about with that G1000 synthetic view. It definitely needed, when you've got scenery like you do at Milford Sound, and you've got maybe low cloud within the mountains, you definitely need that synthetic view. But it makes for a stunning sim flight. Let's have a little look at our progress so far. So we are getting close, so we're being yelled at to enter our destination data. We've got a louver coming up in 80 miles, and let's have a quick look at the charts. And a louver was flight level 90, so let's go ahead and start our descent. So the aircraft, thanks to the mod, yells at us when we get close to our destination. It's telling us that we haven't entered our destination data. So we need to get the latest METAR. Within my Discord server I've got a bot, thankfully, so I can punch in our weather data. ENBR. So we've got, as of 16:20, so it was literally 4 minutes ago this METAR was produced. Wind is still 0 degrees at 0 knots. All the nines, so really nice clear visibility. And light rain, few clouds at 2,200, scattered at 3,600, broken at 5,500. Temperatures 5 degrees Celsius. Dew point at 5 degrees. QNH 999 hectopascals, and the wind was 00000, unbelievably. And we've got 7,000 as that transition altitude from the chart data. Quickly have a look at this again. 218. For our decision height, and that's our destination data input. And now that orange scratch pad warning deletes itself. So we're inbound Aluva, 70 or so miles. The way we've timed it, actually, we'll probably be able to go all the way down to 4,000. Walkout, yep. So I was just showing briefly some of the guys in the live stream earlier that you can get the METAR within the aircraft. So you click MCDU menu, and it depends on whether or not you've got ATIS information. Oh, awesome! We've got Bergen Tower. Let's have a look. So that's they've got information Juliet. So if you're on VATSIM, so I can actually show you guys now for relevant to the airport we're flying into. So we've got our weather data within options here, METAR source, VATSIM. There's loads of different as well. So we've got Unreal Weather, which isn't actually, that's awesome if that's now in there. So if you've got Unreal Weather installed, select that. That's perfect. Same with the ATIS information at the top. So we've got ATSU, AOC menu, we've got ATIS request, ENBR. Enter that at the top. Format for MCDU, and we just hit send. And we can return to the AOC menu, and we can just watch our progress on the nav display as well, and our primary flight display. And we'll wait for that company message to pop up on our eCam. New Southend scenery. Let me know if that's any good, because I know there's a major scenery developer that's in process of creating a payware version, so that's timed very well, if that's good. Company message, received messages, and there's our ATIS information for Bergen. Bergen Fleshland information Juliet 1550. So this is slightly behind actually. The actual updated ATIS. You can see there runway in use 35. So we need to change our arrival. Let's do that now. Oh no, we've got 3.5 program. Beautiful. So this is what we've basically input now into the MCDU for that performance page for arrival. Need to update that transition level to 8.5 because that's what they're stipulating on ATIS. Wind's variable at 2 knots on this information. Visibility more than 10 kilos. Light rain, few clouds at 1,900. Scattered at 3,500. Broken at 6, 5 degrees, and 999 QNH. And a reminder there for information Juliet. Salvador, to fix the autopilot, we're flying one of the latest sort of master. It's based on the master branch, and I've not had any issues with it myself yet. So it might just be that we need to amend. You might just have to change a setting and update to the latest one again. The MDA for this runway is 365 feet. So the MDA takes your altitude. So with the altitude part of it, we would enter that into there, which would be 37. The number I just mentioned then. Let's have a little look again. That'd be 365 into MDA. But we're going to base our minimums on our rad outs. And on the charts it's telling us there 218 for a decision height for a category C. Yeah, the latest development versions of the fly-by-wires, but they've been quite stable actually. I've had no track deviation at all. If I go to 10 nautical miles now, we're bang on the flight track again. What I like to do whilst we are making our way in, we know that our QNH is 999, so I just go and update that during the descent and flick on back onto standard. Looks like the bot's going crazy again. Hopefully soon we'll get loads of bits into these sort of panels here, but for now we don't need them on really, so I'll just dim the screens right down for that. And you can see what we've got for our approach speed. We've got 128 knots, so that falls into category C. When you look at the approach plates and you've got category A, B, C and D, they're basically 4 categories that have been created that pool aircraft together based on approach speed. And if we were particularly heavy, we might have an approach speed of 158 knots, for example. Or if we were a larger aircraft, so in this sim, you're looking at the 787, for example, then our approach speeds would be greater, and therefore we'd fall into category D. Today in this, we're just in the category A. We're category C. So we've got Bergen Tower 1191 is online. According to vPilot. They've not long come online as well, which is good. So we might actually have some ATC as we make our way in. I'll just refresh that ATIS information. It's still Juliet. QNH 999. Make sure you've got all of your charts ready to go for your arrival. Once you're taxied off the runway, ideally, if you've got the charts up ready to go on the ground, then you know roughly where you can go, at least initially. I don't need sim brief, so I can close that down. It's going to be the first time I've done a night arrival in probably about a month and a half now, in pitch black. And Bergen Airport in the sim is completely auto-gen as well, so Or at least there's no scenery that I've found yet for this for the airport. So have a quick review of the chart again, and so we're going to work out how we're our descent relative to the star. So interestingly, the star on the sim is not really that correct by the looks of it. So we've got BR725, which is correct. We've got Iblir. And then it's sending us direct to Rivip. Realistically, there should be another right turn at Iblir to head to 3 little waypoints that then loop us round into Rivip. So you sort of like, you weave into your final approach with like a figure of S. So Aluva was above flight level 90, and then we have to be at Iblir around 4,000 feet. So with this rate of descent, we'll probably calm it down shortly, but we can continue our descent all the way to Iblir down to 4,000, and then beyond that we'll Rivip at 4,000, and beyond that we will look at then dropping down to 2,500 feet for final approach. With the sim as well, you want to make sure you've got icing on, because you do get some issues sometimes. Let's turn the wing lights back on, and we can put seatbelt signs on as well. God, it's absolutely pitch black out there. You can see part of some of the Norwegian coast there. So this, roughly on our right hand side, we'll have Stavanger. Just down there. In fact, that could be Stavanger in the distance. Who knows? Great scenery in the daytime. You can fly around the fjords and things, which is really cool. Nice. So potentially then, Echo, the scenery is actually really good for Stansted. I get really paranoid flying at night, so I can see all these floaty lights and things that Sobo have put in, but I then worry that I'll be triggering terrain, so I'll put the weather radar, the terrain radar on, and as we're going at below 10,000 we'll put the landing lights on as well. Bergen traffic, Scandinavian 268, passing Aluva, descending through flight level 100 on an Aluva to Papa arrival, expecting ILS, runway 35. Quick position report. Just for anyone around us. Have you made a hash of that then, Ian? Let's have a little look at the external drone, just for the part of the testing. Once we get a bit slower, logo lights and things will start to illuminate. And we'll go ahead and just stick local QNH on as we continue our descent down. Yeah, fingers crossed. You'll be fine, I'm sure you'll be fine. Ideally we put constraints on as well. What's the sim telling us to do? Below 9,000, 6,000, 6,000 at Rivip, that's not correct. So Iblia and Rivip on the charts show 4,000. But maybe it's saying that you have to be below 6,000. So I suppose that is correct. Rivip is 4,000 or above, as is Iblia. So it looks like we're flying through some cloud. Yep. So I can just see some bits there, like little illuminations from the wing lights. Good grief, it's so dark. For approach, when we're on finals, I'll turn the overhead light off. No, I can't flick it back on again. There we go. I think as well, from reminding myself from when I was reading all of this, there we go. So we've got reading lights at the back as well that have been put in. Let's see. There we go. That reading light works as well. There's a few things I just remembered that I hadn't yet tested or looked at. So continue our smoothish descent down. Not heard anyone else yet call up, so we've still got Bergen Tower. We'll probably be the only aircraft in for the time being. And with our progress, what I might do is go direct to Idava. So let's draw that line, cut the line there. Bergen traffic, Scandinavian 268, passing Genvu, now going direct Idava, descending for 2,500 ILS 35. So dead ahead of us now, actually, Bergen. In fact, just off in the distance there's a little red light which I believe could be the runway. Don't quote me on that. Ah, so he's not announcing his position. Oh, Wilderoo, -8. Okay. Well, he's quite way ahead then. We should be okay. Let's bring our speed down. There's one departing out of Bergen as well, a Wilderoo aircraft going off to EGMC, and one coming in from Stavanger, I think was it. Little -8 off in through the murk somewhere. We can't see him. Look at that light plume off in the distance. That's incredible. We're flying it direct to Idava. So I've just sent a text chat thing instead on VATSIM as well, just to see. Yeah, you must be on finals now, but then I've had a little listen on.
Land Tower videre 220, request taxi.
There we go, so there's a little bit of traffic on the ground.
220, taxi on runway 35 via Whiskey Hotel and Yankee.
Okay, so let's
Taxi to holding point
set
via
up
Whiskey and Yankee for videre 220.
performance. Let's activate approach phase.
Almost Whiskey Hotel and Yankee.
So if we activate manage speed now, the aircraft's going to allow itself to
Whiskey Hotel Yankee
slow down to the green dot and then go no further on that descent. You can see some terrain coming in. Red means that we'd probably hit it, and that's off on our right hand side. Rain as well on the windshield. I can't believe how dark it is.
Video 554, runway 35, vacated, request taxi to stand 18.
So that's that dash 8 down. So it's just us next, we've got a clear run.
Video 554, taxi to stand 18 via Yankee Golf November Romeo.
So I'm just looking at the charts for any terrain, so we are cutting the star,
Romeo, video 554.
but it looks pretty good. We're at 4,000 feet now, just sailing around. On the terrain, anything that's yellow or red is obviously a hazard. Let's do that then. We're going to want speed brake, auto brake on low. Let's arm the speed brake. Little change of wind there, so it's pushed our airspeed down, but the auto thrusters kicked straight in for us there. And I'm just going to lower the
554, hold short of
intensity
Yankee.
of these.
Hold short of Yankee, either 554.
Ah, brilliant. Just going to watch this one for a minute.
God kväll, Flösan Tower, Lima November in number Golf 752 at technical request taxi to active runway for traffic pattern.
Good, there we go. So we've got lights outside. These are the new lights.
Golf, please wireless flight plan, and then we can go ahead and do that.
Look at that, that looks cool.
And videre 554, continue taxi. Continue taxi, videre 554.
So some great work for lighting and things being put in place. Let's slow down a bit more, let's go to 180.
220, line up runway 35. Line up 35, videre 220.
And we'll position ourselves now to slowly start our descent down to 2,500 ILS intercept.
Lima November in number Golf at technical request taxi to active runway and the flight plan return.
Through the clouds.
Videre 220, winds calm, runway 35, clear for takeoff. Clear for
take off runway 35 videre, 220.
Lima November Golf, you're clear to operate with a control zone at 1,500 feet or below and squawking 1,200.
Squawk 1,200 and clear to operate in the control zone 1,500 feet or below, Lima November Golf.
Lima November Golf, will intersection Alpha 5 be fine for you?
A firm Lima November Golf.
Lima November Golf, taxi to intersection Alpha 5 runway 35 via Juliet, Whiskey and Charlie.
Intersection Alpha 5 runway 35 via Juliet.
We'll just continue our
Charlie,
descent.
Lima November Golf.
Coming up to that final approach fix now as well, so we'll be looking to intercept the ILS from Idava. And I think we've
Lima
got
November Golf, vet du nå om
12
den
miles.
Victor Lima 210 som står ved siden av her?
Nei. Det vet ikke jeg noe om. Lima November Golf.
Ok.
So one thing you have to be careful of if you're capturing as you're descending.
Videre 554, jeg ser at du har kommet trykk tilbake til gaten, så ses vi en annen
It
gang.
can switch from approach to localizer mode, so
Jo takk, det ble ikke noe krasjing i dag. Jeg kommer nok tilbake igjen etterpå med en ny flyvning, så vi snakkes nok snart.
Ja, greit.
there's a runway dead ahead by the looks of it.
Ha det bra.
Bergen Tower, good evening. Scandinavian 268, established on the ILS runway 35 with information Juliet to land. 10 miles.
Scandinavian 268, continue approach on number 1 for now.
Continue approach, number 1, Scandinavian 268.
Videre 220, unfortunately no further ATC, 122 decimal 8.
Here we go.
Unicom 122 decimal 8, ha det bra.
We can see the approach lights just down there, and we've got that aircraft that's just taken off as well, that Wild Rose flight.
Ja, vet du hva. Lima November Golf, det greit at du holder short of 3-5 for 2-3 minutter. Greit?
Ja da, Lima November Golf.
And he's been told.
Scandinavian 268, runway 35, clear to land, winds calm.
Clear to land, Scandinavian 268. Set up for the final approach, we're at 6 miles now. God, it is so dark out there. There goes some lights as well, so let's have a little
Bergen
look.
Tower, good evening, Victoria 210 with you at stand 4 and requesting clearance IFR to Oslo, please.
Whoa, that's bright. Looks great though. There's the runway just ahead that we can see.
Victor Lima 210, you're clear to Oslo Garden 1.
There's our landing checklist just pop up.
Initially clear 6,000 feet, squawk 5362.
If you're new to the channel, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons. And I always quite happy to take content suggestions as well for any routes that you guys might want to see. So feel free to let me know.
Can you please say again the clearance for
Full
Victoria
flaps, got
210?
gear down. Signs are on, cabin's ready, spoilers are armed. So we are set.
We are 210. Which part of the clearance do you need to repeat?
The SID, please, is go cap to Charlie or to Delta for the Victoria 210?
On the glide path nicely. The diamonds on the PFD there.
Liam, I believe 210.
For our
It
vertical
will be
and lateral
cruise
guidance.
Delta departure, runway 35.
And I'm going to turn the wipers off because they are annoying me. We'll turn icing off. More for performance of the engines.
So clear for Oslo via Gokap to Delta, runway 35, initial
Still raining.
altitude 6,000 feet and squawk on 5.
I'm convinced the wipers don't actually do anything. But now we're getting more rain, so I might turn them back on. 1,000 feet.
Victor Lima 0210, reback is correct. Call back when the reservation starts.
Report when I'm ready for pushback. Start Victor India 210.
Looks great flying in at night time. So 500 half control. Oh, a little crosswind starting to build in, oddly enough. And it's starting to really rain now. Minimums.
Lima November Golf after
Lovely.
departing Scandinavia and line up and wait behind.
Join the landing, Scandinavia, and line up and wait on the 35 behind.
That's annoying, we just missed that. Let's try and go off the runway to help him out. And let's get rid of the flaps. So we're looking at the yellow line because that's all we can see at the moment. It's the only thing with the sim is it's not the clearest at night time.
Scandinavian 268, welcome to Bergen Flesland, taxi to stand 26 via Yankee and Echo and Whiskey.
Thank you. That's taxi stand 26 via Yankee Echo Whiskey Scandinavian 268. Yankee's the first right. Good grief. Is that the centre line? We don't even know.
Ready for pushback and start Victor India 210.
Well, Victor Lima 210, squawk 7114, please.
Squawk 7114 Victor India 210.
It's so hard to even, in the sim at night time, it's just difficult to
Lima November Golf,
work out where you are in the
Getting
airport.
your takeoff clearance in about 1.5 minutes.
Copy that, Lima November Golf.
So I'm using the map currently.
Med mindre du har lyst til å blåse og rulle vann.
No, I have to check.
And I'm looking for just sort of ground plates or anything, any signs on the ground that might help us find where Echo is, but I can't see any yet. I feel like it's the next one coming up. This is where the sim is so annoying.
And Victor Lima 210, person service approved, coordination triple liner.
There's the round bit.
Pushback and start Victor India 210.
So this has got to be Delta, according to the charts. this is where like scenery like Manchester Airport is a lifesaver in the sim, because there's proper lighting at night now, whereas this auto-gen stuff is just a joke. You can't see anything, and because it's auto-gen, we haven't got the little taxiway markers.
Lima November Golf, runway 35, clear for takeoff,
So
wind
this is
calm,
echo.
and right hand pattern.
Don't ask me how, but it is. And then
But that runway 35 clear takeoff and right hand pattern.
it seems
Lima
like a
Golf.
very tight turn. This is now Whiskey. 23 is this one here, I think. So we've got to take the next left onto Mike, and how do people even know where they're going on this sim at night? So we've got to turn onto Mike, which has got to be here. And then it wasn't that first turn. You know what? Let's turn the landing lights on so we can actually see. So it's this one here. This is going to take us into stand 2-3. That's where the sim wants us to go though.
Lima November Golf, down on runway 35 for first stop landing.
Let's see. Let's have a look at those runway turn lights as well.
Lima November Golf, runway 35, cleared for full stop landing when it's calm, as said.
Stop land runway 35, Lima November Golf.
Love the intensity of those lights. That's really good.
Ready for taxi with the next transit.
Turn the wipers off. Yeah, I could ask for directions, but it's just that it's frustrating in the sim sometimes. I find it's sort of almost embarrassing to say, oh, by the way, I've got a sim that's not quite up to scratch. So, but you know, if I did that by staring at the charts the entire time and roughly reading where we were going. So we taxied correctly, but it's just it takes a lot of effort.
Victor Lima 210, taxi the runway 3, Olympiad runway 35 via Juliet Whiskey Hotel Yankee.
Taxi to landing point, runway 35 via Juliet Whiskey Hotel Yankee.
I mean, I can't even see where that guy is. There's a plane over there that's flying in. Oh, there's somebody. Oh, there he is. Is that him? That's a car. So let's have a little look. If we switch this to day, we can actually see what we're doing. Well, I can't see any other aircraft on the ground. So he's getting taxi instructions and things, but little Cessna there. Look at that stunning scenery though. If this was if we were landing at this time of day now, it'd be pure bliss. And Norway's always good to fly into in the sim. It's got great scenery. Cool. Well, that's going to conclude our live stream for today. Thank you all for watching, especially those of you who tuned in at the start and were waiting for a long time to
Lima November Golf,
for nothing to happen basically. And I was talking to myself for about 20 minutes, so I appreciate all you guys waiting.
From Lima November Golf.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
To technical via Bravo
But
uniform.
that new Gatwick Airport freeware scenery
Bravo uniform,
that's been out for a little while now, that's it's solved that massively, so that's really good. So I highly recommend downloading that.
Ja, jeg måtte faen meg spise.
Oh,
Find us on Discord.
yeah.
Make sure you join us on
Hvor lenge
Saturday
blir det på?
for the Manchester to Lapland flight. That's going to be quite good. It's part of a big VATSIM event as well prior to Christmas, so join
Ja,
us
ok,
for that.
kanskje vi ses etterpå.
Thank you all for tuning in and watching. As always, appreciate every one of you watching the channel, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Something a bit different, the challenge of landing in rain and pitch darkness. So thank you all for watching, and see you all again very soon for another live stream. Have a good evening.